Well, I can officially say that I'm officially 21 years old. Jesus freaking Christ, I'm old as hell, aren't I? Oh well, at least I can finally drink legally. So there have been NASCAR birthday race wins thanks to Cale Yarborough and Kyle Busch twice, Matt Kenseth, and Elliott Sadler. Also my all-time favorite NASCAR truck driver Ron Hornaday won on his 40th birthday at Bristol. I wanted to do a video on IndyCar Birthday Race Wins, but I only found one driver, and it was Sam Hornish Jr. back in Kansas in 2006. So I thought I could do a video on his win at Kansas and cover the race. With that being said, let's begin. The 2006 Kansas Lottery Indy 300 took place on July 2nd, 2006 at Kansas Speedway. It was the 8th race of the 2006 IndyCar season. The 2006 IndyCar schedule was 14 races long. Helio Castroneves was leading the championship by 5 points coming into the race. However, Sam Hornish Jr., the birthday boy, won the last race at Richmond, dominating the race after leading 212 of the 250 laps. The championship was still going on between the Penske boys and the Ganassi boys. As for the race itself, Dan Weldon started on the pole with a speed of 213.536 miles per hour, while the birthday boy, Sam Hornish Jr., who was turning 27 at the time, started second. 19 cars were in the race. The fans were ready for a thrilling and hot 4th of July weekend race at Kansas. Former Kansas Governor Kathleen Sebelius gave the command to start the engines for the race.
Ladies and gentlemen, drivers all, start your engines.
The race was expected to be a side-by-side race just like practice, and 19 cars were going to be very, very close. Dan Weldon led the field down to the green.
We get ready as the Kansas Indy 300 is green. It only takes 26 seconds to complete a lap. You're looking at Team Penske. They're trying to chase down our race leader, Dan Weldon.
During the opening laps of the race, Tony Kanaan, who started in 13th, made some amazing moves due to a big run he had and moved up 3 spots. He moved up 7 spots in the first 5 laps. During warm-ups before the race started, Tony Kanaan was very, very livid. The team made adjustments and now he was having a great start. So I'm assuming that he had a shitty car during warm-ups and he was not happy about it. So I guess now the car's great and now he's just making those good moves. It did not take too long for the birthday boy to take the lead away from Dan Weldon. On lap 7, Sam Hornish Jr. passed Dan Weldon for the race lead.
Battle for the race lead. Hornish trying to go on the high side around Weldon. Weldon takes him up as high as he dare, and he goes nose to nose with him.
Still there.
Into 3, and they're still side by side.
I tell you, this is a great racetrack for side-by-side racing. They got a huge crowd here today. If you're just noticing, people are still following. This place is unreal. This reminds me of Homestead, Florida, guys, where this Target Chip Ganassi team and the Penske team ran side-by-side that last couple laps in a photo finish. A real neat deal there.
The 2006 Indy 500 champion was expected to dominate once again, just like Richmond, especially on his birthday.
I think that I've got a great opportunity to come out here and to win, starting on the front row, and it's my birthday, so what better birthday present could I get than winning this race?
While Sam Hornish Jr. was being Sam Hornish Jr., his teammate Helio Castroneves was not being Helio Castroneves.
As you just saw on side by side, the points leader, Helio Castroneves, spun, hit the wall. He's got damage to the rear wing, and he is trying to stay out so he does not lose a lap. He was able to keep the engine fired. Let's go back, take a look.
just going through the middle of the turn. I noticed before when he was trying to get around Dixon, the car looked a little bit loose. He's on that high lane, and the back end just starts to wobble, and then the back end comes around. Now, he pretty much hit at a square pace going back into that safer barrier, Rusty, so it looks like the wing itself is the only damage to the car. Did not get any suspension. He is the points leader. As we know, there is an attenuator on the back of that car to help on the impact anytime it does go on, and very lucky to go back across the racetrack and not get hit by any of the traffic that's coming along, including his friend Tony Kanaan.
Well, you can just tell right now that it just stepped out on him. He's got this real slick racetrack out there approaching 100 degrees and real hot track temperature. He just flat got loose, Scott. One up, but you talk about lucky, though. He backed that thing right in as square as you possibly can. Now you see the wing has fell back down into position right now. Tim Cindric's on the radio calling for a rear wing right now. These guys are prepared. They've got to take a look at that left rear tire. That was the one closest to the wall. The right rear we saw in the replay definitely cleared. It broke the rear wing off and it's fell back down. It's not attached. Folks, it might look like it is, but it's not. And so I would say left rear and the wing's what they got to look at.
While championships were being implicated for Helio Castroneves, pit stops were underway.
Down. Here comes cars for pits.
Here come the pit stops. Let's send it to Dr. Jerry Punch.
60 miles an hour down pit road. First pit stop of the afternoon, guys. They will head down pit road. And you'll watch both the Ganassi cars pitting middle and bottom. Dan Weldon, major front wing change coming because the car is pushing. Scott Dixon will have a minimal air pressure change as we check in down in the Sam Hornish pits with Jack Arute. Jack?
Well, should be a nominal stop with us. Minor wing adjustment on Sam Hornish Jr. They've gone to the front wings, made that adjustment, and they are off and away. Meanwhile, Helio Castroneves is getting his rear wing inspected. They're trying to determine whether to replace it. They've elected not to, guys.
Well, they decide to send him out. You can see that wing plate on the left side of the car is damaged, and maybe they'll just bring him back in if they think they need to do it. They're trying to keep him on that lead lap.
After the first pit stop, Scott Dixon beat Sam Hornish Jr. off of pit road, so Hornish had to settle in for second on the restart. However, he had a long way to go. As for Helio, the three team had a lot of work to do in order to stay on the lead lap and continue to fight for the championship. The race was back underway on lap 46, and Hornish passed Dixon for lead as soon as they passed the start-finish line. During the first half of the race, there were 3 different leaders of 4 lead changes. The second caution came out on lap 90 due to debris. That meant the second round of pit stops took place. Hornish ended up beating the field off of pit road. While Hornish was going to lead the field back underway, Helio Castroneves' repairs continued.
Jack, you've got more?
Yeah, they were told by the officials from the IndyCar series that they had to check the cabling that keeps the rear wing attached if there's a major crash. They wanted to have that inspected and make sure that that was properly attached. They've determined that it is, but they took the extra time during this caution to ensure that. That's a safety measure, not for the driver, but for the fans in the stands.
And that'll just move him to the back of the lead lap, which will put him in about 12th position.
The race was back underway on lap 99. Sam Hornish Jr. got around Dan Weldon and led the first half of the race. While Hornish got the lead again, there were some crazy moments in the mid-pack during that restart.
Here's the restart that we had. We're driving along with Marco Andretti, and right in front of you, the orange car, Vitor Meira, number 4, being very aggressive. Looked like he had pushed the 2 car of Thomas Scheckter up towards the wall, and he muscled past the 7 car of Brian Herta that you see directly. And boy, I'll tell you, that's a pardon me, excuse me, I'm coming through move. I mean, how lucky is that?
Hey, you talk about close racing. That was Vitor Meira banged in the side of Herta coming through there. The guys barely made it through. Sparks were flying off their wheels, and Herta got through there undamaged, and so did Meira.
And on the inside, you notice the 55 of Koski Matsura. That's how he managed to go up to 5th.
Things were getting very intense for the race lead on lap 103 between Sam Hornish Jr. and Dan Weldon.
Well, you saw that speed just a moment ago. Weldon was turning a 209, just a bit quicker than Hornish the previous lap, and that's because he's running behind Hornish. Hornish poking a hole in the air for Weldon. Weldon gets the advantage of that draft. Now, Sam in the 6 car is being very smart. He's staying on the low side, making sure that Weldon has to go around the high side, which is a long way around. And we talked before about the laps led between Penske and Ganassi. These teams together have led over 94% of the laps coming into this race here, so no surprise to see these 2 teams battling out again.
You know, one thing that's really exciting is watch these guys side by side like that, and you just saw Weldon downshift into 5th gear, or to 4th gear actually, getting off that corner, then back to 5th. You know, Weldon, Scott, one thing I'm concerned about, or I don't understand, is how Weldon gets a big run on the outside. And you would think he's got so much momentum on the outside of that track, he'd get past Hornish. But Hornish is actually pulling him off the corner on the bottom side of the track.
Well, and that's why Hornish is staying on low side. Here we go again with a 10 of the target car of Weldon. He gets that draft going down the front stretch. Remember, Sam in the 6 car is poking a hole in the air for him, and then Weldon's trying to go around the outside. Now look at the throttle on the Firestone telemetry. 100% throttle, 10,300 RPM is the maximum on the engine in 6th gear, so that car is going as fast as it's going to go.
Let's get more on Chip Ganassi Racing. Jerry Punch.
Guys, if you watch Dan Weldon now trying to get by Sam Hornish, the orders have come down for Scott Dixon, Weldon's teammate, on the right side of your screen now, coming around now, the 9 car, to try to close in. There's Dixon, try to close in, even use overtake if you have to, close in behind Dan Weldon and try to push your teammate by Sam Hornish. See if we, maybe 2 Ganassi cars can tag team and maybe overcome one Penske car up front.
It took more than 30 laps, but Dan Weldon finally closed in on Sam Hornish Jr. and chased him down.
There they are. We'll keep you posted as all of a sudden, here we go. Now all of a sudden Dan Weldon says, well, I want some more TV time.
Weldon just won't give him a break. Weldon is on his tail, and Hornish cannot shake him at all.
All right, we're not going to miss a thing. We're going to take you side by side. We've got action all over the racetrack, and this is what we've become accustomed to at Kansas. There will be another shootout. I think we can guarantee it.
Oh, come on, ABC. Well, I'll make it up to you guys. So here's the race summary of what took place at the race.
Hornish has been dominating this race just like he did last time out at Richmond under the lights, but Scott Dixon and Dan Weldon from Chip Ganassi's team are right behind him in the chase. And then a great battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Kanan, Mira, they're closing in on that battle for the front. And Marco Andretti has moved up into the top 10. He's running 9th right now. And Danica is struggling. She is a lap down in 13th position.
Weldon would lead 2 laps until the dominant Sam Hornish Jr. got the lead back again. A few laps later, green flag pit stops were underway. Sam Hornish Jr. did his service. However, it was a slow stop. He was not the only one who had a slow stop though. Other drivers were having slow stops while other drivers were stalling.
10.5, it was a little bit long. There is Danica Patrick. Jamie?
Guys, Danica Patrick still suffering, and she stalls it. They roll her back. She has not had a good day. They were going to put a half turn of front wing, full fuel, guys, and she's off. She's still 1 lap down.
And maybe 2 laps down by the time this is over.
You know, we talk about the heat sometimes throughout the show. The heat affects the drivers in their car because it's 135, 140 degrees inside the cockpit when they're doing the work. And Rusty, these cars are very tight inside, so we don't have the option to have a cool suit and a cool hat like they do in NASCAR. And the other side of it too is we see everybody starting to come in the pit lane. The heat is also affecting the crew members down there because what ends up happening is that it's tough for them, and sometimes they make a mistake, and we've seen that in the past, Marty.
Let's go to Jamie quickly.
Thomas Scheckter worked his way all the way from 10th back up to 5th. They were going to make a small front wing adjustment. You see it there, 4 tires, full fuel, guys. They're hoping they can make it to the end.
This is where your pit crew can make or break you. Whoever gets out first could pick up a spot or 2. Mira is gone. Castroneves is gone. And it looks like Castroneves is going to beat out both Scheckter and Mira. Jerry.
Slight front wing adjustment. They got Scott Dixon full of fuel. He is down and away, and his teammate Dan Weldon should be coming down pit road momentarily. They are calling Weldon in. Final pit stop of the afternoon. Track temperature, guys, just been recorded at 136 degrees.
Set your fuel. Focus on Dave. Remember your clutch.
You hear Barry Wanzer talking to Dan Weldon as they make a front wing adjustment on the left front for Weldon.
Clear.
And a much quicker stop than Sam Hornish. So it'll be interesting to see how it sorts out. Here's Marco. Jerry.
Marco Andretti's final pit stop of the afternoon here. And remember, whoa, is Kosuke Matsuura coming out sideways on pit road. Again, Andretti.
And he stalled it.
The car was handling very, very well, but the car was very, very sluggish in the corner. He almost stalled the car. Let's check in with Jack LaRue.
Scott Sharp coming down for the service from his crew in what should be his final stop of the day. No changes anticipated on the Delphi car. Precious seconds equating out. They're going to make a final wing change going down a half turn. He likes the Honda up and heads back to the war.
All right, you saw Marco Andretti stall the car. It cost him dearly. He's going to fall possibly out of the top 10.
Once everything cycled through, Dan Weldon was leading the race. While Dan Weldon was leading, a caution came out for a wreck from Scott Sharp on lap 167.
He has still got a ways to go to reel in the race leaders, but Castroneves is, the yellow has come out, and that is going to change the complexion of this race as we have got a crash down in turn number 4. And I believe
Scott Sharp.
It's Scott Sharp. He was running in 9th place at the time, and what started out as a promising weekend for Scott has turned into our third caution of the day.
Now he is getting some radio contact coming from the pit lane, or the spotters asking if he's okay. But once he takes off that steering wheel, he has no way of communicating. So he looks like he's in a hurry to get out. Obviously not very happy with what happened. A driver along with Sam Hornish Jr. that took part of the IROC series just a couple of nights ago down at Daytona. And here we go with Scott right now going through the corner. You know something's going on with the car, guys. Either something in the back, a normal line going in, and either some type of a failure, suspension, wing, we don't really know. But you can see he's really just turning in, doing everything correctly, and then the back end of the car starts to go away from him.
Well, I tell you what, Scott, it looks like just a classic case that just rear end just stepped out from underneath him. And you saw him go in, you saw the rear end get out from underneath it like he just got a little loose and he couldn't catch it. Now, I don't know if he had a right rear tire going down. We'll have to ask his engineer and see if the instrumentation was showing deflation in the right rear tire or what, but it looked like just a classic case of getting loose.
Scott Sharp led 1 lap, and it was during green flag pit stops. The race is back underway, but not for long if your name was Buddy Rice.
Oh, and down underneath the white line. That's a no-no.
Yeah, but I believe that he got pushed down there, Marty, by Sam Hornish just a little bit. So Brian Barnhart says that's legal as long as you just don't drive down there. He went down and it got tight for him. As Hornish is coming back on the outside of Dixon right now, he's got a big run on the top side, and he has cleared him.
So it is still the same running order. Weldon, Hornish, Dixon. That is Brian Barnhart. Oh, and we have another crash. You saw the reaction from Barnhart, and it is the number 15 of Buddy Rice. So the problems for Rahal Letterman Racing continue. 4 DNFs by Jeff Simmons, and now this weekend it's Buddy Rice's turn.
That's a second big wreck. That's a second. No, sorry, that's all you can say. That's a second big wreck out of Rice now. At Richmond, Virginia, had a big crash, and here now, I tell you what, still working on this Dallara chassis, Scott. They just can't seem to get the handle yet.
And we have to actually point out that, you know, it's not necessarily, you say the second crash, but, you know, the driver himself, he's just out there like we always did when we were driving, Rusty. You want to drive the car and get up to the front. You know, we're not patient as race car drivers. And as we're going to go back and watch a replay right now, you can see the car just wiggles. And you know something? There's something going on with the car. He's driving the car past its limit a little bit. Remember, they just changed into this new Dallara chassis that everybody else in the series has been using for a long time. They're a competitive team, competitive drivers, competitive engineers. They want to make sure they're up front, and the driver himself is just pushing the car past the limit. The car is not as developed as the other cars on the other teams, and so for him, he's just trying to overdrive the car.
But now we've seen Elio spin, we've saw Sharp spin, we've seen Rice spin, all down in turn 3 and 4. I don't know if there's something going on down there with the wind or the transition. What do you think?
Well, there is the wind situation. We spoke about that before. You know, it sort of helps you in one as we watch Buddy Rice's car again sliding against the safer barrier, going down into turn 1. The wind's coming over the front of the car, sort of helps you get through turns 1 and 2, and it rushes you into turn 3 and makes the car actually a little bit harder to drive. So we don't know if it's that. There is some patches in turns 3 and 4. Maybe that sort of upset the car, but unfortunate for Buddy Rice.
The race was underway yet again, but this time it was going to be a 17-lap shootout and a battle for the win between Sam Hornish Jr. and Dan Weldon. But during the closing laps, it was on, and I mean, it was on the typical IRL oval racing fashion.
Meanwhile, there's a battle for the lead. Let's go topside.
They're going wheel to wheel. Here we go again. Does this remind you of, say, Miami and Homestead? It was Castroneves and Weldon there. It's Weldon and Dixon now.
Well, who said they can't run side by side at Kansas Speedway? Look at this race going on. This is exactly what Weldon needs. He's not giving up on this thing at all.
Still there.
Oh, man, they are so close.
Boy, there's going to be donuts on race cars here. You can hear the spotters talking them all the way around. So close.
I mean, guys, you're talking about an inch or 2 inches. We just watched them go down into turn 1, and they were touching going into turn 1. So, man, I'll tell you, if they hook wheels, we're in big trouble right now.
But no one's going to take their foot off the gas. I can guarantee you it's 100% throttle going around here right now, all the way around.
Side by side in the closing laps. The closest margin ever here at Kansas, 5/1000th of a second back in 2004. And it is Weldon trying to track down Sam Hornish. It was Buddy Rice who won that 2004 race. Here we go. This time by, the white flag airs out. Hornish.
Marty, he's got one shot going down 3 and 4. He's going to have to choose his line and watch very smartly as Hornish pushes him high and now tries to take the air away from him.
Going into turn 3, Hornish hugs the white line down low. Will he pick up his 17th career win, or will Weldon get his 11th? Coming for the stripe. Here comes the checkered flag. Sam Hornish goes back to back and does it again. And Hornish will take over the points lead. And yep, Chris is going to have to keep wearing those jeans.
And this is why we need more ovals in IndyCar. Oh, wrong topic. Anyway, sorry about that. The birthday boy got his birthday wish and it became true. Sam Hornish Jr. won the Kansas Lottery Indy 300. His birthday win would be his 17th career IndyCar win. He once again dominated the race by leading 149 laps of 200 laps. The margin of victory was 0.079 seconds. More ovals. The race lasted 1 hour and 49 minutes with 13 lead changes. Sam Hornish Jr. will later on win the 2006 IndyCar Championship, his third championship, and would win 2 more races of his career until he made the move to NASCAR for good after the 2007 IndyCar season. As of the making of this video, I think Sam Hornish Jr. is the only IndyCar driver to win on his birthday. I could be wrong. If I am, feel free to tell me in the comments below who won an IndyCar race on their birthday. A lot of help would be appreciated. Anyway, I wanted to make this video because today's my birthday, so I wanted to make a special video, and because there has not been an IndyCar related birthday content, I believe. I appreciate the birthday wishes. I want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. Comment, like, and subscribe for more content. This is my first time doing a racing topics episode just like this. I want to say thank you guys so much for supporting E Nation. This is the Impress 48, signing off. Goodbye, everybody.